This is LEGO Dragon. However, it is not very nice dragon. I mean, look at this thing. It's a little scary, man. He be terrorizing LEGO minifigures in LEGO City in the modern day. But we're not building modern dragons today, no. We're going back to the wee days of the medieval times. However, this European archer, not what we're looking for. We want the men who in the name of Odin fight for Valhalla.
Yeah, boy.
If you could change your life, would you do it? Oh wait, that's Brave. Now we're talking about How to Train Your Dragon today, baby. We're going to be recreating that magical movie. They've recreated it in live action, so we're gonna recreate it in Lego with LEGO Vikings and Dragons.
Yeah, baby.
If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below, and there will be a giveaway later on in this video. Now let's get started by building Hiccup. Now is it just me, or does Hiccup look like he goons on the daily?
Oh, hell no!
Now here is LEGO Hiccup. Now beyond being a gooner, he is also just kind of a lame duck. In his home village of Berk, Viking men are proud warriors. They fight dragons. However, Hiccup, he not very cut out for dragon fighting. So instead, he becomes an apprentice to Gobert, the local blacksmith, and he builds weapons and tinkers with his own creations for dragon hunting.
Cool.
Now the rest of the Vikings, they don't particularly believe in Hiccup's inventions, and he's kind of the joke of the village. Berk no like Hiccup. However, on one faithful night, a dragon raid actually comes through.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Dragons! Oh jeez, oh god, the dragon's head fell off. That was not part of the video.
A few moments later.
And while the other Vikings fought the dragons, Hiccup used one of his inventions, a ballista-like machine that would cast a net entangling dragons and bringing them to the ground. Now, one particular dragon is notorious for being the most deadly, the Nightwing, who is, you know, soaring through the sky like dragons do when all of a sudden he gets ensnared. Now Hiccup ventures into the forest to find this dragon, because after all, the rest of the villagers of course don't believe him. They're all jerks. But he finds the dragon, and he is intending to kill said dragon.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
However, upon seeing him, Hiccup is just too good of a dude. He's just a good dude. So instead, he frees him from the net, and instead of killing him, the dragon returns the favor, and they become homies. Hiccup names the dragon Toothless, and this is the iconic duo that we now know. Hiccup engineers his back wing so Toothless can fly again, and the pair geeks out. However, I think we need to go ahead and upgrade Hiccup now. You know, this is beginning movie attire. He needs end movie attire. So I went ahead and stuck him on the wolf pack body, which I think looks fantastic.
That's awesome!
And he regrew his hair, so now he's looking a little bit more like the Hiccup from the movie. Excellent. Now here's the thing, while all this is going on, Hiccup's father is out and about, riding on his Viking longship. He and his crew are sailing to find the dragon's nest, to kill the dragons and stop them from continuously raiding their village. However, inadvertently, Toothless takes Hiccup to discover the dragon's nest, where the Red Death, the big mama dragon, who is being hunted by the Vikings, roosts, and he forces the smaller dragons to bring food for him.
I regret nothing.
A bunch of stuff and plot happens, and then all of a sudden, Toothless gets captured and gets strung up on the mast of the ship to lead the way to the dragon's nest.
Hold up!
This was some cruelty, man. Once they make land, things go bad. Big dragon attack with little dragons. Ship go sink. Toothless sink. Hiccup sink trying to save Toothless. Father sink saving both. But at the end of the day, all of the Vikings band together with their new dragon friends to take on the Red Death, who ends up dying. Very nice. And now all of a sudden, the Vikings learn the moral of the story, and they get along with the dragons now and ride them and become like horse tamers, but with dragons, baby. Yeah.
That's got to be the best part I've ever seen.
So that's pretty much the plot of How to Train Your Dragon in LEGO. We got Hiccup and Toothless here, which Toothless could definitely be a little bit more cute, but had no idea how to make a cool black dragon, so this is what we got. But for today's giveaway, we're going to be giving away one of these Viking Lego minifigures. All you gotta do is hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below what you think of How to Train Your Dragon. Did you see the new movie? Did you enjoy it? What animated movie would you like to see live action next? Now, let's check out some more Lego movies. Spongebob, the little yellow sponge man, who quite frankly has many memes.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Of which we are going to be recreating in today's video. Now the problem is, I only have a few SpongeBob minifigures.
You what?
And SpongeBob is the only real one, the others are fake. However, I bought some additional SpongeBoy Me Bob minifigures. We got Pat Rock, Pirate Pat Rock, Gary Le Snail, Send the Checks, as well as Cabana SpongeBob. But we need Pirate SpongeBob. I also realized I do have authentic Lego Plankton as well. And what's interesting about these guys is that they used to be like a $10 block, but then some dude just realized you could buy this green colored block and print your own plankton on it, and it is indistinguishable from the actual Lego one. So now these are only worth like 10 cents because he flooded the market with a bunch of fakes. So yeah, that's a thing. Your plankton, if you bought it online, may be well, authentic Lego, but printed with plankton on it. The more you know. And I also realized I do have an authentic Patrick. I'm just missing his head and his hands.
Just call me daddy!
Now we do have the Bikini Bottom gang here, but what about Cursed Bikini Bottom? Well, you may remember, and I'll show this later, we purchased knockoff Cursed Lego minifigures of a SpongeBob and the Patrick and all the gang. So we got Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Sandra, Patrick, and for some reason, two SpongeBobs here. Now these are Lego compatible, but the weird thing about these is that they are actually made by Nickelodeon or their parent company Viacom. Yeah, these are officially licensed fake Lego knockoffs, which is made even more bizarre because we've had an authentic Lego SpongeBob set theme in the past. So what's the deal?
Money, money, this money, money, that profit will make me wallet fat.
But you know what is made of authentic Lego but is not supported by Viacom? That would be this, the Giga Chad handsome Squidward.
Oh no, he's hot!
That's right, this is from brickwarp.com. It is authentic Lego with custom printing on it. And yeah, it's handsome Squidward. I've never seen such a gorgeous squilliam in my life. The fact that you could buy this is just, it's just incredible. Now, one of my favorite things between Squidward and our boy SpongeBob here is when our boy Mr. Krabs pulled up and made them start selling pizza. The Krusty Krab pizza.
Is the pizza absolutely pizza?
Yeah, so he transformed Krabby Patties into pizza because someone wanted pizza and they called a burger joint. So SpongeBob, and much to Squidward's chagrin himself, were tasked with delivering said pizza. Now, this was possibly one of the most iconic episodes of all time, and I owned it for the Game Boy Advance. That's right, I had one of the Game Boy cartridges that let you watch SpongeBob, and it had this episode. So I've seen it like 30 times. And one of my favorite gags is that they rode these puppies for miles. That's right, the pioneers. They rode the rocks. It's just a stupid boulder. And no, it's not just a boulder, it's a rock. Absolute cash money. One of the greatest episodes of all time. But there was also the episode where a SpongeBob and Pat Rock ended up, oh no, Spongy. Well, they ended up committing a crime. They stole this, a balloon. That's right, these two hardened criminals stole a balloon and they turned themselves in. They couldn't live with this on their conscience, so they were locked up in high security prison. But yeah, our fish friend here soon came over to release them because after all, it just so happened to be Free Balloon Day, brother. What luck! I will never forgive them for what they've done. Now, another iconic SpongeBob episode is the chocolate episode with the old lady in the wheelchair. Chocolate. And I have a Lego wheelchair here. This was actually gifted to me by Republic Studs. And no, it's not that. Let me build this and I'll explain.
A few moments later.
Okay, here. It's Stephen Hawking. Now, this apparently has actually, according to Republic Studs, become kind of an expensive fake minifigure because so many people want it, not only for the wheelchair, but also the weird neck piece, which is rare, and then comes with a little video games for him to play. And also, I think, like, the island allocations have become kind of a meme, so I don't know. Weirdly, I believe this is an expensive fake minifigure nowadays, but it does come with this weird face just automatically on the minifigure because they swap it out for this broken neck looking one. So yeah, I don't know, they just include this random clown face in it as well. But really, I just need the wheelchair, so excuse me. And now we need to make the chocolate lady, but that's gonna be hard because she's like a piece of poo. So I'm gonna start with some brown, and then I guess we're gonna just like stack more brown pieces up until we get kind of a poo shape type beat, I guess. Let me go try and build this. Okay, so I guess this is my best attempt at the chocolate lady. Put some hair on it, I don't know. Makes it not just a long brown pile of poo. Yeah, I don't know about this one, SpongeBob, I don't know. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2, all of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. But let me ask you this, do you remember Nickelodeon kart racers? Yeah, that's right. Another fake officially licensed SpongeBob set, which I'm wondering if this is why LEGO doesn't make more SpongeBob stuff, because they're literally teaming up with fake LEGO, so maybe there's bad blood there. But yeah, this is officially licensed, Nickelodeon, Viacom. It's odd that they're doing so much of this, but we got a bunch of Nickelodeon kart racing sets here. Now, it's weird because they don't come with boxes. You know, they just come with those pamphlets and then a bunch of pieces. So I'll go ahead and build these, but I think they're still making Nickelodeon kart racing games? I don't remember. I just remember them from my childhood. Comment down below if you remember.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
The first one we've built is Mr. Squidward. Now, these are super weird. So they kind of suck a little bit. It's a little bit lackluster. I also don't understand why Squidward is driving an excavator, essentially. Canonically, does Squidward like construction work, or you know, what's going on with that? Also, the minifigures they include really suck. They've got pretty terrible appendages. They can't sit, so all of the characters just kind of stand awkwardly inside the carts. It must be a different company because the fake LEGO minifigures from previous are like 1,000 times better than these new ones. So yeah, either way, we got Mr. Squidward in his excavator. Next, Mr. Krabs. Now, I'm not entirely sure why Mr. Krabs is in this boat thing. I thought maybe it's like supposed to be his anchor, but then I think it's just a boat. I'm pretty sure it's just a boat. I'm not totally sure, but yeah. It also has this on the back, which like looks like a projection wheel, or maybe it's a gun. I'm not sure. Mr. Krabs is getting shot, question mark? Who knows? But yeah, definitely a weird one. And Mr. Krabs is even worse than Mr. Squidward. He's got these stubby legs. They don't even look like his actual legs, bro. They're just tubes. They're just tubes. Yeah. Little disappointed in the kart racing here, but it is what it is. Next up, Patbot. We got Patrick here, and he gets a nice Ski-Doo, and look how cursed Patrick looks. Look at his tiny hands. Ugh. Look how cursed he is. Oh my god. Yeah, he gets a Ski-Doo, which he can't even fit on with his massive tube legs. So this is just a lie. I literally cannot get him to stand on this. And there's a little palm tree next to it too. Very nice, but not really, kind of crap. And finally, we've got SpongeBob me Bob, except it's Robot Bob. Robot SpongeBob, I guess. So, the weirdest looking of all of these, and it's got like a radar dish on the top. It's like, I think supposed to be an old-timey Victorian style car. And then we got Sponge Boy right here, which for some reason it came with an extra leg, so I just stuck it on top of him like an antenna. He's not supposed to have that, but yeah. Probably the best of the minifigures that we've had here. These were made in 2021 by Viacom. Oh my god. And he actually does fit on his cart, but his stub legs don't work. So what's the point? This is Mrs. Rogers, and this is her son, Steve Rogers. Bro came out the womb, the goat, baby. But we might be starting our story a little too early. Steve here was not born Captain America. He turned into Captain America. From the mean streets of Brooklyn, baby, all the way to fighting the Red Hulk. Oh, hell no! We are building the life of Captain America, both as the OG Captain America here and the future Cap, the Falcon. I will be doing a LEGO giveaway later this video, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and let's build the life of Captain America. Now, Steve had his friend Bucky Barnes here when he was younger. They were good buddies, but there was a big difference between them. Bucky was a big, strong man, and Steve was pretty small growing up. He was small boy, but he had heart, baby. He'd get beat up by bullies, and he just wouldn't give up. He's got more fight left in him, baby. But then Bucky went off to go fight in World War II, and Steve was rejected. However, a scientist had observed Steve and realized that this kid had heart. And just like that, Steve Rogers was in the military.
Yeah, baby.
One day in training camp, a granata was thrown. While others ran, Steve leapt onto the grenade, but it did not explode. It was a test to see who had the most heart. And a couple weird tests later, they decided Steve was going to become the first superhero, Captain America. They shoved Stevie Boy into this super soldier tube and injected him with the super soldier serum. And suddenly, the real Captain America had taken his final form. During this whole process, Steve had even caught the eye of Miss Peggy Carter here, an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. However, they wouldn't get to spend much time together yet, cause, well, Captain America wasn't really allowed on the front lines. The government made him into basically a freak sideshow, a performer for the masses. That is, until he was sent to the front lines, where again he was pretty much treated like another sideshow. But this time to soldiers who had been fighting for months now in Normandy and were not impressed. Kinda came off as tasteless, and Steve knew that, so he decided it was time to go rogue. He grabbed himself a gun and began the infiltration process of a German compound, killing the German defenders, and began the full-scale infiltration of the German fortress. But he stumbled upon something. His good friend Bucky Barnes, who was a POW, and seemed to be getting tested on in some sort of strange laboratory, along with other American soldiers. Cap managed to break out the US POWs and marched them back to the US camp, thus starting his service truly in the US Army as a soldier. Cap, Bucky, and his squad blasted their way through German city after German city, destroying the Wehrmacht resistance. But eventually, Bucky here, well, he fell off a train, and then Cap had to go fight the Red Skull.
That's suspicious.
Now here is the Red Skull. No, I do not have an actual Red Skull minifigure. RIP. But just deal with it, okay? Captain America comes in and he's like, you know what else I don't have? I also don't have a plane. So here's an RAF plane. Yeah, and oh no, it's gonna explode. Captain America, you have to crash it into the ice. Ah!
4 to 6 weeks later.
Oh my god, it's Captain America. He's been waiting a long time to come home. Alright, and then, oh, nope, that looks dirty. Wait, hold on, no. Okay, the scientists find Captain America, okay? The next day, in a New York apartment. Now, Cap woke up in the future. He didn't know that at first because S.H.I.E.L.D. was trying to trick him, but he just about instantly figured it out because these idiots don't know how to Google. Like, that part makes no sense. Why would you pick a baseball game that he's literally been to? So he spazzes a little bit and eventually ends up on the streets of New York City with Nick Fury. And there's only one thing to do when you come to the future. Join a super team. So we got the Avengers, baby. Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, Hawkeye, and of course, the Hulk, baby. I know this isn't the Hulk. He's got Hulk hands though. I can't find my Hulk minifigure. So it's, this is the Hulk. This is, we have a Hulk at home. The Hulk at home. Captain America and the Avengers spent the next few hours beating the crap out of some aliens. Yeah! And then they all went and got some shawarma together. Now, this was the start of the Avengers. However, Captain America would be on his lonesome again very soon. Well, semi-alone, because he was now working alongside Black Widow and S.H.I.E.L.D., boarding a S.H.I.E.L.D. boat where the crew members had all been taken hostage. Naturally, Cap came through and beat some buttholes up, saving the S.H.I.E.L.D. crew members. But this was a start of a series of events.
Welcome to the Himalayas!
First of all, the return of Bucky Barnes. However, he wasn't really Bucky Barnes anymore. He was the Winter Soldier, the result of a Soviet experiment into the super soldier program that made Captain America. This was also a red herring, as everyone just pretty much ended up being Hydra. The return of Hydra America? Question mark? No! Captain America beats everyone's butts, except for Bucky, who actually, saved him. But they're not really friends. That, it's like awkward, because Bucky doesn't really know him, but Steve is like, Bucky, I love you. And then Age of Ultron happened, and I don't care about that movie. It's boring. So we're gonna ignore it and move on to Captain America Civil War. Winter Soldier and Civil War are like some of the best MCU movies, bro. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2, all of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. Now, Civil War starts with this mad lad here, the King of Wakanda, giving a speech. He gets shot, and then his son dons the Black Panther mask. T'Challa. Meanwhile, Bucky Barnes here is just living a very ordinary life at the moment, undercover. But he gets framed, and the Black Panther comes after him. At this point, Captain America steps in with his newfound friend, the Falcon. Now, the Falcon basically just has a wingsuit, and he's a normal guy otherwise, but he's pretty chill. Him and Bucky start like a little bromance, it's cute. But eventually, Bucky does end up getting arrested, and he gets put in a cell with this dude who's posing as a government official, but it's really the man who started this entire thing. And he has brought the Book of Activation Codes that turns Bucky into the Winter Soldier, a mindless soldier who will do whatever this man wants.
I'm in danger!
Now, basically, while all this is happening, there are these accords also going on. Iron Man is like, woo, we need these things because we keep killing civilians. And Captain America's like, no. And so the kind of Civil War starts, and also now Bucky's also like kinda in the picture, and they're all at an airport, and it's Civil War. Oh, also Spooderman gets introduced, baby. So after a gigantic clash with each other at the airport, Brody here comes tumbling out the sky and breaks his frickin' spine, dude. It's brutal. But Cap manages to dip, and he flies off to the Arctic in search of the Winter Soldier program. Iron Man here follows Captain America to the Arctic facility, and once there, him, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier get into an all-out brawl. Because it turns out that Bucket Barnes here, well, he killed Tony's father. Yikes. The battle ends with Cap smashing the shield against Iron Man repeatedly until Tony cannot even move in the suit. However, Cap symbolically leaves the shield there. A shield that Tony's father made for him, and that Captain America is now leaving behind, along with the Avengers. At this point, Cap and Black Widow basically go Spec Ops mode. Look at this dude, he looking on fleek. Meanwhile, Squidward here has invaded New York City, and Iron Man is here to stop him. Well, kinda. Him and the Spooter Dude are here, try to take on Squilliam, but eventually end up in space, but not before they call Captain America, because our boy Thanos here is back to finish what he started all those years ago in Avengers 1. There is a giant fight in Wakanda with the Avengers taking on Thanos, but eventually Thanos snaps and removes half the population of Earth. Tony later returns from space and reunites with Steve Rogers. Oh, and did I mention Thor got fat for a few one-off jokes? Well, with the team back together again, it was time to unsnap these fools. And lucky for them, it's discovered that Captain America is worthy of wielding Mjolnir. And there's a huge clash with the Thanos man until Iron Man snaps and my boy dies. And that's the end of the good Avengers. Now we get into some slop of Captain America. Firstly, Cap decides to go back in time, but then he returns to time as a old dude. And he gifts the shield to Sam, who honestly is probably the most worthy Avenger successor to Captain America. However, Sam gets like peer pressured because America, and he gives up the shield to this buffoon, who then, you know, he's out of the picture because he's a coward and cringe. And then Sam truly becomes Captain America, or at least we hope. Bucky is fully on board with this, and the bromance is back in full swing, but now there's a new threat to Earth. Harrison Ford! He got so mad talking about Star Wars all the time, he turned into the Red Hulk. And that's where Captain America Brave New World comes into play. Now, I've not seen the movie yet because I'm recording this when it's actually on release day, but early reviews don't look so good. I really hope it's good because Captain America is my favorite Avengers series. Winter Soldier and Civil War are two of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. Probably Winter Soldier is my favorite. So I'm hoping that the critics are just being negative and the movie's actually good. But I don't know what happens in the movie.